Welcome back to The Real Story. Every human life carries inherent dignity, regardless of race, gender, economic status, or even your faith. However, in America's underbelly, the homeless stand as our most forsaken. Yes, some by choice, but most clawing desperately for a foothold back into society. And that brings us to our next story. See, our own producer, Chris Cella, tipped off by investigative journalist Audra Morgan, who's dogged this story for nearly a year now, recently joined her to confront the alleged horrors that are actively happening at Dreams for Change, San Diego's so-called beacon for the vulnerable. Conversations with former staff and residents revealed a cauldron of alleged neglect. Squalid conditions, untrained overseers, rampant drugs, gang threats, and outright cruelty that left our producer physically reeling. Now, this past Saturday at their Imperial Avenue lot, the ironically named center, Dreams for Change, staged a self-congratulatory gala marking 15 years of service, with free food, kids' games, and applause for the CEO, Teresa Smith. But strip away the photo op gloss for a moment, and a grim reality emerges. Now, according to critics and insiders, up to 20-plus deaths since their safe sleeping sites launched in 2023. Although earlier official reports cited only 12 deaths, allegedly from overdoses, ignored emergencies, and other unchecked issues, plus alleged sexual assaults buried in silence. Cella even shadowed Morgan to the event and cornered Smith with pointed questions on these damning claims. Take a listen.
There's been a lot of reports from people on the street that Dreams for Change has underreported sexual assaults, deaths, and things like that. Well,
This is a day of celebration.
Don't you think it's an issue if people? Why are you turning off electricity at 10 p.m. and why are people showering in sewage water?
I'm not here to talk about those issues. This is a day of celebration for us, and for you to come and try to attack me with these kind of questions.
I'll just answer a binary question. Are there underreported deaths at your facility?
No, there is not.
No.
There is not.
No. Sexual assault. No,
there is not. Okay. I'm not answering any more of these questions.
There she is, toasting her outfit's excellence, yet dodging scrutiny as an attack unfit for the festivities. How convenient. Prioritize the party over patching the peril. Potemkin Village, anybody? Now, Cella also pressed San Diego City Councilman Henry Foster, who gave this nice little speech praising the amazing work being done by Dreams for Change. But when asked about some of these very serious issues, he became camera shy. Watch.
Talk to a lot of the people, residents, people who've worked there in the past, people who've lived there in the past, so that the conditions there are kind of unsanitary. Yeah. Well, yeah. So no, that's a no.
Wow. So the selfies and the sermons, they flow freely, but a straightforward query on life-threatening flaws, and he bolts like a man with secrets. And as for uplifting the vulnerable, more like uplifting illusions. Now, according to the lawsuit and residents' accounts, clients endure rodent-riddled tents jammed perilously close, defying local fire codes. They shower in sewage-fouled water. They eat moldy scraps swarming with bugs and rats, all while gangs allegedly prowl and fear reigns unchecked. Staff allegedly remain clueless on CPR or Narcan amid overdoses. And even worse, some reportedly sling drugs to their own clients, spew contempt, and eject people on whims. And actual aid? A mirage, an illusion, allegedly little to no meaningful job or housing support. Now, Hugh Smith's chummy bond with Whitburn, who dubbed her a woman of distinction in 2024 and championed her expansions. Detractors decry it as peak cronyism, prime city plots for her NGO, even as bodies allegedly mount. An explosive federal lawsuit dropped August 26th by 8 residents shreds these safe havens as hellish, seeking reforms for conditions that allegedly mock human decency. And still, San Diego's elite pump funds, over $20 billion statewide, squandered on homelessness since 2019 with nothing to show. propping up corrupt NGO hustles as the streets fester. Folks, this isn't mercy, it's malice, masked as benevolence. It's yet another example of how Blue City schemes devour the defenseless, one safe site at a time. Now, for more on this wild story is Audra Morgan, an independent investigative journalist who's been blowing the whistle on Dreams for Change for nearly a year. Audra, thank you for being here.
Oh, Riley, thank you so much for having me. This is so important to talk about.
It is, and this NGO, they call it Dreams for Change, but it really sounds more like a nightmare. So please tell us what's happening and what have you found?
Yes, it's definitely a nightmare. These people are being exploited. You know, when I first got, word on Dreams for Change, it was actually a tip on illegals being there, and or Tent City rather. And so I thought, I'm going to go check it out. And then it opened up the door to doing a point in time count there. When I was getting ready to do that, the participants were told that if they don't clean their stuff up, that they will be exited immediately. So as soon as someone comes, they have to, paint a pretty picture of what it looks like so that they think there's nothing wrong. Just like at that 15-year celebration, as long as you bring in all these wonderful things and you make it seem like this is such a wonderful place that they're helping people. We've been doing it for 15 years, when in fact they are hiding deaths, they are hiding sexual assaults, they are claiming that there isn't a rat problem, that there are no issues. And it's very disturbing because we spend a lot of money to do that. And homeless people shouldn't be exploited. They're people too. And I believe that, this woman is Dr. Teresa Smith is her name.
Wow.
She's a psychologist.
Really?
So, or she has a PhD in psychology, I'm sorry. But so the fact that she is actively traumatizing people in itself is very disturbing.
You know, all of this, because what it sounds like is there's a lot of time and energy and resources used toward propping up this illusion. The obvious question is, why don't you take those same exact resources and use it to actually serve your clients?
Exactly. I mean, but instead they'll pay their employees. They'll always claim there isn't enough funding to do this or that when they're getting millions of dollars. They also have claimed that, we only do part of the things. Like the city has control over, say, what showers go in, what the electricity, all of this stuff. But there are code violations. I mean, they're in breach of their contract. They actively, there are drugs being used on the campus or on the site. Even one of their employees who, if you want to show this video, Michael, he was high on PCP and many different things. They had to bring in a lot of law enforcement to come and take him down. So they don't, discourage that. People will be selling drugs on the site. And if they do exit them, they'll say it's a noise complaint. So the reason why they don't want people to report stuff, in fact, what they say is, go ahead and report it to us. Don't go to the police and report it. Come to the directors, because then there's a paper trail, right? As long as you have a paper trail, you can go and say, well, look at how many assaults have happened.
So then it's a matter of public record.
Right.
People can investigate, and as we're doing, they can cover it and expose them. That is the most sinister and suspicious part to me, is the open hostility to any kind of transparency. What does that tell you, Audra?
Well, it tells me that, they don't really care about the people, that they care more about their money, their image, continuing this racket, because homelessness is a business. If you fix the problem, you don't have money coming and there's no point in fixing it, right? So you're going to have this illusion that you can come in here, and actually real quick before I go to that, Teresa actually said, we want them to stay here as long as possible.
Really?
And I thought,
she said that to you?
Yes.
Really?
And I thought, isn't the point you want them to not stay here, that you want them to get out of here and go into housing? And then she was complaining about, we don't get the credits for housing when we house them, but you're not housing them because these people will go through multiple caseworkers so that there is no opportunity for them to get the housing, or they'll refuse to give them paperwork and say, that's not our job. Even calling 911, that's not our job. They're told to basically sit there, even using COVID as a means to say, don't touch them, so that they basically die. Narcan is locked away in the temporary buildings. Their employees half the time aren't even where they're supposed to be.
Wow. Okay, this is just, it's a lot to process, and it's shocking to see our fellow American citizens treated like, I want to say dirt, but lower than dirt.
Yeah.
It's abysmal to me and shameful. So what are there solutions? There's a lawsuit underway. Talk to us a little bit about people, including yourself, who are actively trying to fix the problem and what that looks like.
Yeah, so for over 9 months, I've been going to the city council and, just exposing the different things that I've been getting from my sources on the inside.
Wow.
And they've been met with, just total ignoring of it. But when I was reporting one of the deaths, and that's what's hard, is coming time and again and saying, nobody more should have to die before you guys do something. And then literally the next day I'll have to say, another person has died.
But Audra, we are out of time, so can I just say thank you for doing what you're doing and for calling light to this and for coming on the show to talk about it, because somebody has to, and something has to be done. These are our fellow American citizens, and they're being treated like trash.
That's right.
It's unacceptable. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for talking about it.
Thank you so much, Riley.
Coming up next, we will have more for you right after the break.